And welcome to, well, a slightly strange-looking Valet Apex this week. I am neither Sam Fitzpatrick, and we are not in the studio today, as much as I have done my best to try and fool you. Fortunately, David Sampson's here, so hello, David. But many of you will not know, but my name is Lee Thompson. I'm normally just hiding in the background of all of these sort of productions and doing my best to avoid camera. You might know my voice maybe from audio commentary over the years, but yeah, I try to avoid the camera. But unfortunately for everyone else apart from us, pretty much, David, there's a bit of sickness floating around today, eh? So we've decided, yeah, no studio broadcast a couple of hours ago, and let's do a podcast remote. But we did want to do a podcast today because, you know, it's a big time of year for us, right? It's iRacing new build time. So we obviously covered it in a little bit of detail last week, but we want to go through that a little bit more today as well. Have David in particular, you know, running us through just what primarily the new Audi are like, what's Mugello's like, and a couple of other little changes that he's spotted along the way. And of course, as regular viewers will know, here at the Late Apex, we'll cover general sim racing news kind of first of all, but then kind of switch in the second half to news from around the Apex brands, if you like. So Apex Racing TV, League, Academy, Team, and simulators. But yeah, we'll kind of play it by ear and see where the conversation takes us, David. I mean, like I said, we'll start off on that iRacing update, since, as I said, that's for our kind of focus, if you like, for now. What takes your fancy first? Do you want to talk about the Audi in particular or Mugello?
Yeah, the Audi. I've done 10 races in the Audi so far, and I have to say I was impressed. I mean, it's an Audi. You're not going to be, you're not blown away. Yes, I do feel they have worked on it, but it has all the Audi characteristics. The braking, it still has that lazy spin. I mean, I come out of pit road, I was excited to drive it, and I spun it in a practice lap. I'd like to add, in a practice lap, I spun it in the first corner, because I just abused how I come off the throttle. So it's still an Audi. It's still going to do Audi things. The sound's taken a big boost. It sounds amazing. Again, I feel like they add things to sound, but it only comes to new cars. So it's got like this lift-off, I don't know, rattle to it, which it sounds good at first. It can maybe get a little annoying after a while because it's very repetitive, but great car to drive. The thing that stood out to me the most with it, and I think that's going to be the curve for everyone when they realise, is the biggest changes with it were the traction control and ABS, more so the traction control. So people are probably thinking how great the Audi feels, but they need to realise as well that this traction control and ABS has come to all the cars. Less prevalent in some. We'll get to that as I'll quickly skim over my thoughts on them all. But so the traction control, well, let me explain the theme, what seems to be the new theme with GT3s, and that's tyre degradation and the fall off. The grip levels stay, I mean, we're still early in, I've only been doing this for 2-3 days, but the grip levels seem to maintain themselves stronger over a stint. And the spikes in degradation and temperature are lessened. One, from the new traction control, you can definitely lean on the traction control more, and it still saves you in a very familiar way. But what you're going to notice is it's just less lap time loss. It's more a cleaner pickup on how it cuts your engine or power, however it works. I'm not a technician on traction control, I'll just tell you what I do know from sim racing, but it's quicker. So you feel the traction control kick in, but A, you don't hurt your tyres as much, and B, you haven't lost as much lap time. The same is true of the ABS system, but I would say it's too early for me to say if it's better. It's different. Definitely when you're initially braking, let's say in the Merc and the Lambo, there's less of that annoying ABS that's constantly there at the top end. At the low end, it's still there, maybe less, but I don't know how to explain it. Unfortunately, the word I'm going to use for ABS is different. It's a learning curve to adapt. But
yeah, and it feels like at the minute it seems like a better different for you. You know, you're feeling like it feels a bit more natural, or like you can push more, or where's that feeling?
Cleaner. That's the best word, I suppose. Like it's less. Like I don't drive GT3s IRL. Like
what?
I have no.
What are we even doing here?
Exactly. It just feels what I expect it to probably feel like, and a bit more consistent. Like, as I say, the cars now feel a bit more balanced. The Lamborghini and Merc lately have been, I don't know how the the big guy. I don't know how your Apex, the ART guys drive that Merc the way they do. They're obviously so progressive with the brake. It's something cannot achieve. But yeah, I haven't noticed any negatives with the ABS, and I've definitely noticed a couple of positives. But yeah, on the TC side, it's a big positive from me. I would say it's less prevalent on the Porsche, but I think we all agree the Porsche had the best TC anyway. But cars like the BMW, the Mercedes, you really notice that the lower gear stuff is just, for me, it's just more beginner friendly, and I'm closer to the beginning than I am an alien, so it's nice. I like it. And as I say, it's too early to say, consistency's higher and lap times remain the same, because we're working with fixed setups. The races are short. But my experience, we're not noticing a lap and a half and 2 laps of high performance and then degradation that just constantly sweeps away from the car. I'm not feeling that at all.
Okay, good. So it feels like a promising step then, iRacing maybe have taken at least those GT3 cars, right, in a more sensible direction, hopefully.
Yeah, 100%. I'm enjoying it. I've been doing probably 9-10 weeks of GTP, but I don't want to say I'm going to do week 1 GT3 Spa, but I'm tempted. I've really enjoyed week 13. I've survived the chaos, and the racing I've been doing is just fun. Like, I'm enjoying the cars again. So yeah, good step. It's too early to say. Let's see when the low wing setups come out, or the setups with high rear ride height and they're abusing a rotation and low buy. I don't know. Perhaps everything comes tumbling away and we realize if you want to go quick that this is the wrong direction to go. But let's see. Positive at the moment for me, though. Positive. And yeah, so the point I was trying to make is a lot of people are driving the Audi and just like, wow, like, this car is amazing, but they need to just go try the Lambo, go try the Merc, go try the BMW. You're going to be surprised that a lot of the wows are on the other cars as well.
Okay, no, really, so, yeah, really interesting. Well, I'll say it's. I'm always happy when an update comes out, and we feel like even if there's still work to do, it's in the right direction, because not always the case, right? We're really curious, guys, in chat as well, watching along live on YouTube. Let us know how you're feeling like the Audi is. Do you anything that you kind of feel like you got a different opinion compared to David? Have you is that going to be your car of choice? What do we think of the traction control and ABS? Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, and maybe we'll circle back around to that in a little while when we see some comments.
Yeah, we're always down for questions and or disagreements. I'm sure everyone in chat's going to disagree with everything I said. But yeah, no, I'm excited. It's a good step. It's a small step, but it's a good step. Like you said, if it's going in the right direction, then we celebrate. Yeah,
absolutely. And there's some pretty images of the Audi from iRacing. So no, like I say, I'm glad it seems like it's heading in the right direction. It's just a shame, right? As I think you mentioned on the episode last week, that they bring this car in right as it's kind of not really going to be relevant anymore in real life.
Correct,
but hey, that's the way it goes. So yeah, exactly. At least we got it right. So then we also got a couple of new tracks, of course. I mean, primarily for us as road racers, we got Mugello, so that's a good classic one for us to see. I know Sam certainly in previous weeks has been harping on about how much he's looking forward to it. It's a good fun circuit. I'm not sure I've got quite the love on it that Sam did. I actually randomly caught your first laps on stream at Mugello, I think earlier in the week, David, by kind of chance. How did you? I won't comment on how the beginning of that went, but how did you feel about the track by the end? I mean, are you a fan? I mean, is it a hot lapping track? Is it a racing track? What do you feel like?
So I'm gutted you saw that. I have a weakness. I am terrible at learning new things because
it's our age, David, right?
Yeah, I spent all these years getting to a certain level, but I kid myself. It's taken me years to get there, and that's just that's my progression. I didn't come into this with high talent or a quick ability to learn tracks and stuff. It's been a graft for me. So when I go out there, I don't know why I'd ever stream myself trying to learn a track. It's just embarrassing. But yeah,
you should just pretend, do a bit of practice first, then start streaming. Here are my first laps, and guys,
yeah,
this is easy, isn't it?
It is a tricky track to learn. It is twisty. It feels like every entry of every corner is blind with... I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, if I had known this... I always praise elevation changes, whether it's Road Atlanta, Bathurst, Sonoma, the others that I can't think of right now. I always like elevation changes, but my God, does it make it difficult? Because, I don't know, the track is a bit of a void of braking markers and having the entries blind. I just found it very difficult. And again, I was stupid because I was learning it in the Audi, and the Audi has the lift-off trait. And because I didn't know when or how much to lift off, because I didn't know what corner, I was spinning all the time. It did look gorgeous. It reminded me of it. Like I mentioned with the car sounds, it feels like they never go back and update. They wait till an update comes out, and then they push a next level piece on it, and that's definitely on the Audi. But Mugello made me feel like Fuji, like a step up in backgrounds and skyboxes and how the everything around the track was. Now, I did notice a negative, and I think this has been mirrored by quite a few people I spoke to. I've been averaging... I mean, Daytona's a heavy track, I always find, for FPS, and I'm getting around, say, 300 when I go past the pits, maybe 170. Mugello, I wasn't getting 150 no matter where I was on the track, which, if my computer's hitting 60% reduction, that's going to be a very heavy hit on some people. It does look great. Like, it is... I mean, it's phenomenally good looking. It just felt like it was a step up in scan and graphics, but
and then you paid the price as well. I mean, did you give the opportunity to try and tinker at all to see if there was a setting that was particularly affecting it, or do you just feel like it's just a more demanding level of circuit now that we're looking at, maybe?
That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, I imagine grandstands and event and grandstands would make a huge difference. Like, but I would rather go to the shops and buy something more powerful than turn those settings off. I can't stand... I don't know how some people do it. I see people driving at Daytona, and I don't recognise what corner I'm at. No,
just bare bones and nothing. No.
I can't do it. But yeah, I want to like it. I struggle with new tracks, and I do feel like iRacing, the want for new cars and new tracks, we've gone so horizontal. I do want to kind of, at one point, iRacing should be confident enough to say, guys, like, let's just make what we got better. Let's focus on licensing, improving what we've got. I mean, people want cars and tracks, but they forget rain has to be developed for every car and track, and it keeps pushing things back.
It's a tricky conundrum, right? Because I'm sure that just, unfortunately, the raw sales of new tracks and new cars is a pretty fundamental part of iRacing's business plan. And as much as, like, I agree completely in the sense of, like, back when I was racing, kind of, retired sim racer here now, if you like, there was probably actually half the amount of cars on iRacing and probably not far off half the amount of road tracks. And so, more tracks on my side is great. More cars, it just dilutes and dilutes and dilutes, right? And like, in fact, I've got it right here for the YouTube viewers. I mean, you look at the schedule now, and obviously this is oval and road dirt or whatever. 150 pages worth of schedule now. Like, that's how many series there are. Like, it's kind of... I mean, here's a better way of looking at it, right? Just the actual content's like, there's just so many series, and I don't know, like, how... you're in and amongst the weeds much more than I am, David. Like, how many of these series are just empty? Like, I don't know. Obviously, GT3s and stuff are always going to be popular, right? But I just feel like, I was surprised when I scrolled through and saw that the Brazilian stock cars still has its own series and stuff. Like, surely that's just a ghost town? I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah. The Brazilian stock cars, the Porsche Mission R, they were dead on arrival. Well, they lasted a few days. Yeah. I wanted to get... Well, no, I didn't want to get into the Mission R. That's a whole different story. That thing... I mean, I don't know if you ever drove
novelty.
It, but, well, once I got up to speed with it, I was like, I'll do some races in this. Put on the quali set, and the quali set is a completely different animal. Like, you've got to
different
break
car.
3 meters earlier. And I was like, nah, I mean, I don't have the brain capacity to do this. No. The Brazilian stock cars were really challenging. I mean, I know lots of people that struggle in the Porsche Cup car, and that makes the Porsche Cup car seem easy. But there's loads of dead series. I mean, some series they don't almost like the Apple approach. They won't apologize and fix it. It's almost like they're going, no, we're right.
Yeah.
Like Radicals. Radicals had a big community around it.
Yeah.
A few streamers. It needed nothing doing to it. It was great.
SR8 used to be one of my favourite cars. You know, again, if there is randomly someone lurking around who saw anything of me 10 years ago, I did like a video series all in the Radical. Yeah, it was awesome. It was like that was my official series for quite a time, and I can't believe what we've done with the new I forget what it is, SR4, right? Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, not only did they bring a new car into a series where the car's free. This was peculiar model. So the car's free. They bring not only a paid car into the series, but it was everyone who drove it. And I mean, it retired a few streamers. They were only Radical drivers. They started driving it, and then they realized, I mean, maybe chat remembers more than me, but I think after like 5 laps, the car tires would just fall off an absolute cliff. Like people in the last couple laps were just surviving to try and hold their positions. And the iRacing way, they're going to wait till week 13 to fix. I don't know why they do that. Like we get a long list of patches right at the end of the season. That's great. You've added Mugello and you've added an Audi, but there was a few things that you fixed. Why did you wait 7 weeks to fix the damn thing? Like that annoys me anyway. So they didn't fix the Radical. This lateness that they always have, the way of never A, apologizing, or B, trying to fix it proactively, or reacting to a community saying we don't want this. By the time they did, I heard now the Radical, the new one's good to drive. I've heard lots of compliments, people telling me I should try it, but it's dead. The series is dead. The series is over.
It's a shame, I mean, it was never this huge series. It was kind of 2-3 split sort of deal, but yeah, it's a shame it went through the struggles, but yeah, there we go. So so like I said, good to hear those thoughts. And looking at chat, seems like mostly people liking the Audi as well. So KCR Stig in YouTube chat, Audi feels amazing, but it's rather slow. So that's actually not something we came on to. Have you got a feeling as to how the Audi stacks up to the other GT3s at the minute?
Well, one thing to bear in mind is all the GT3s are around a second a lap slower.
Okay.
That seems to be prevalent, especially at tracks like Spice, around a second down. I did a quick mini BOP test at Road Atlanta, and the Audi did come second to last, but all of them were separated by 1.6 tenths. Like I got them all within 1.6 tenths.
Okay, good, promising.
The Porsche was on top, but that probably has more to do with the fact I love driving the Porsche than anything else. But I didn't feel like the Audi was quote unquote. If the word slow's used, I still think it's a little down on top speed, but overall, I think it's going to be a fantastic. I think it's going to be really popular.
Good. And then Guilty Spark as well. If I'm slow in everything, so I might just get the Audi if only to hear it. So yeah, good enough reasons. Eddie, the audio was a pretty good step up. Again, I heard some comments on your stream about kind of some of the pops and bangs and whistles, of off throttle and things, kind of fairly satisfying.
Yeah, very satisfying.
Good.
Very satisfying.
And then Kenny Rodge as well. Yeah, loving Mugello. GT1 Vet is a blaster. Yeah, seems like good sort of class of car to be going around Mugello in. So yeah, good on you, Kenny Rodge. Those were the two real highlights from the iRacing patch. The Audi and Mugello. Of course, we did also get a small oval track as well, a small quarter-mile oval. I mean, not really our specialist subject, David, neither you and I. So I think we'll unfortunately not be able to go into too much detail on oval. But yeah, kind of they keep finding these obscure oval tracks to add in, and I already saw some clips of people messing around on the figure of 8 configuration. Okayama did get an update as well, but mostly just kind of graphics, right? It does say it's from fresh laser scan data as well, so it's not purely just a graphical update at least. Have you had a chance to play around with these new 3D curbs and all of this all of this 3D grass and stuff that we have now, David?
I don't. People have been telling me about 3D curbs. People I know they know what they're talking about. I don't feel.
No, it just feels the same.
I don't feel anything. I mean, Okayama doesn't have any curbs that you can utilize. I honestly feel, especially in GT3. Mugello, I noticed people spinning off when they take them the wrong way.
But yeah, it's not like the first time you went over it. Yeah, exactly. To me, curbs always felt pretty good. But yeah, it's not like the first time you went over one. Oh my god, this is what I've been missing all my life. You know.
Yeah, no,
not quite. Okay. No,
I'm just not sensitive to it, I assume.
No, well, like I say, I agree with you. I think curbs historically seem to feel pretty good anyway, right? You know, they're pretty satisfying. So, kind of interesting. We got this new weekly challenge series as part of this update as well, and I should have that kind of vaguely prepared for us. So kind of, as you go through weeks 1 to 12, this one challenge will have a different car and track combination. Get a few iRacing credits as well, if you're kind of lucky in the top split, it seems. But kind of interesting.
I think it's an hourly event, but then every Sunday is like what they call the main event. Maybe it'd be broadcasted by them, I'm not sure. Yep. But they give one lucky competitor in the main event a $5 voucher.
Yeah. Cool.
I mean, they tried this with the Ringmeister, right? Shaking things up on rather than the track changing, the car changing, whereas this is a step up from that, changing both the car and the track. It's brave of them like we talked about with the dilution and the participation issues where they're spreading themselves thinner and thinner and thinner. Yeah. They're brave, but maybe it's just a good test. I don't know. Yeah. Let's see.
Maybe they're trying it for something else in the future or something like that, perhaps. Yeah, who knows? And then, as is always the case, more and more cars get the new damage model right. So they're saying it's 16 more cars, including some Super Late model, the old HPD. But yeah, I saw a good bit of damage model in the GT3s earlier that you were covering, David, with the Ferrari having completely missed the front and back of its car, I think it was. So evidently, new damage model working well on there. There's our 3D curbs, but as I said, maybe kind of not having the impact that we expected. Obviously, who knows, as they get rolled out onto different circuits, perhaps it'll be more or less kind of obvious.
Yeah, maybe something like Sebring or something, where we're a track where it's fundamental to the racing line. Something like Sebring might be a bit more Road Atlanta, where we're down in the S's where you're bouncing from curb to curb. But I don't know. The other tracks, I'm not feeling it.
No, interesting. And then, some updates to how the asphalt on oval works. So, hopefully they're continuing to work towards being able to run the lines that they're expecting to be able to run. There's our very important 3D grass. Less important, obviously, than the 3D aspects of that. David, I heard they maybe have reined in the behaviour of the grass and gravel since they kind of made such a big change of it last season. Am I remembering that right? It's a bit more sensible now, maybe?
I haven't had time to... I don't drive on the grass, unfortunately.
I saw you on the grass at Mugello. I'm sorry. So, but yeah, more assessment to be done. But yeah, I think maybe Correct. It sounds like they realised they perhaps took it a step too far, right? But
I mean, we know why they had to change it, because they need to control it through. Because at the moment they've developed grass and gravel, and that's it. Now they need to be able to control it with the changing weather conditions, whether there's a puddle, whether there's, they now need to be able to parameterize gravel and grass. So their first iteration, I preferred slippery grass to grip grass, and the gravel just drives me nuts. I wouldn't mind if it was, if you get two whole tires on the gravel, especially 4, it should eat up your pace because your car dips into it. It really does take away your pace. But clipping the outside of the gravel by a millimeter and running over 2 pebbles, 4/10, I'm sorry, no. Ain't no way that I'm losing 4/10 at Monza just from hearing a little stone clip my outside tyre. Like, that's wrong. So I hope that gets... Maybe that has been patched. So I haven't had time to test it,
I think I've seen... Again, maybe chat can help us out as well. But I think I've seen some comments that maybe it's a little bit more sensible now. But we'll see. Hopefully I'll keep adjusting it, but more new AI additions. So David is not a fan of that, so let's skip over that one.
How did you know that?
Hey, I watch every podcast, David. I'm completely on it and clued up. So so those are the highlights from iRacing on the patch. I mean, kind of nothing unexpected, right? It's not this huge kind of end of year patch, but we've got a new car, we've got a new track for road racing, and so kind of ticks the boxes for us. Anything else particularly on kind of the patch side of things that you feel like is kind of noteworthy, David? I mean, obviously there's plenty of other actual patch notes, but I think perhaps nothing kind of newsworthy necessarily.
No, not really. I alluded to something in the broadcast that we was just doing on the ARL stream regarding the graphics sliders. I mean, it's a bit nerdy, but the slider for controlling your graphic RAM and your RAM
they're gone now.
Hidden now. Yeah, and I've noticed one issue, and I've noticed many people have an issue. There was an issue in ARL with someone's PC, their iRacing freezing up a little bit. I do feel like if you have a problem, reset your iRacing graphics config or go find the app INI setting and make sure that your setting has been set to roughly what you want it. I mean, it doesn't need to be a science, but my worry is in the process of hiding it that something got lost in translation.
Yeah. I'm kind of surprised because I saw that comment from iRacing, right, that they like recommend running the config. I'm surprised they didn't find a way to force that. Like, there's been an update, guys. You might, here's the prompt to run the config. We're not going to make you, but like here it is if you want it. And how many people are going to be struggling for the next weeks or months, not really realizing that that's perhaps the easy fix? Yeah.
The crazy thing is, the graphics config absolutely nukes all your settings. This is the problem. This is why people would rather have a screen freeze than redo everything. I don't know why. Like you say, they should have a little prompt to say, we're going to calculate your RAM, like a little, or just do it automatically. But don't. People are hitting their graphics config and having to set up their triples. Now they're getting less FPS because they need to turn down some of their graphics settings. Like, it doesn't just fix the two things. It completely nukes your settings, and that's upsetting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird for maybe not to have communicated that a bit more than just having to read a forum post, because that's a small percentage of iRacers who are gonna be doing that. So
yeah. Correct.
And then a couple of little notes on like noteworthy changes to actual series that we could mention from this update. So yes, we've got the IMSA Vintage series, which is a bit more of a formal place for the Audi GTO and the Nissan GTP to live. So that's kind of cool that they've got like a official series for them for this season at least. I mean, kind of fun cars. Like, I can't really see that suddenly becoming like a particularly popular series or anything, but at least they're kind of looking and seeing at what they can what they can do and if they can get some people running in them. There's a schedule that I was desperately trying to scroll through for a while. So what sort of chaos have they presented them? So VIR round 1, or we know how that went in GT3s a minute ago. Montreal, Mugello, Le Mans, Barber, kind of a bit all over the place really. Imola, Nürburgring. So yeah, there's a few in there that could be good. But yeah, kind of interesting that they've tried to bring that through as an official series. Same for the Ford GT2, the Aston Martin and Corvette GT1s, and the HPD as well. David, they've also been kind of rejuvenated into an official series now.
Yeah, the HPD coming back out of retirement. I mean, two noteworthy things. One, the IMSA Vintage is iRacing's first real attack at, yes, okay, we will consider not just the second it goes from IRL pulling it. I mean, let's face it, the downfall of, always felt that iRacing's all about IRL. What they do IRL. If they don't do it, we don't do it. Like, we're not doing that. We're not playing games. We're serious.
I mean, I guess there's been some exceptions, right? Because like Lotus 79's been official forever. Lotus 49's been official forever. So I guess it's not completely out there, but you're right.
Well, them not killing something is different to them putting like the word IMSA behind it. Like, they're actually, do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like, I agree with you, but what I mean is sometimes they just let things die and then they never kill it. They just leave it there to die. Whereas this is almost like, okay, where, IMSA Vintage, that's a cool name. Like, actually, it's one of the best names in iRacing right now. And bringing the HPD out of retirement. Again, that's another, I don't recall the last time that happened, them unarchiving a car to try to rejuvenate an old series. I mean, I love the HPD. It's brilliant to drive.
Yeah, I mean, that was really the first prototype car that was, has and was been in iRacing, for so long before the Dallara LMP2, I guess, was the next one that came along, right?
Yeah.
So so many people that the HPD is what they knew. So so there's the schedule, like we said, it's along with the Ford GT2, Corvette GT1, and Aston GT1. Yeah, it looks like a much more kind of sensible schedule, maybe, Watkins, Road America, Spa. I don't see I'm not a fan of Monza, I have to say. I know it's a fun circuit, I just can't do slow chicanes. That schedule looks great. You'd want to race at all of this. Oh, there you go. Without first chicane, but that's you're right. Okay. That's still an improvement on what it might be. I even have the same problem at Spa. Back in World Championship days, I'd be within a tenth or two around 3/4 of the lap. However many miles Spa is, it's quite a long track, right? And get to bus stop and lose more time at the bus stop than I did the rest of the lap. But that looks like like I say, good kind of fun format for that, fun schedule. Yeah, and then yes, sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say the Ringmeister thing. You mentioned earlier about not many people check a forum post. So in the preliminary schedule that was released, the Ringmeister was just as is, as it was last season, but a new order of the cars. And then someone spotted a random forum post where Greg was like, "Oh, actually, we'll make it fix set because that's what the community's been asking for, so we'll do it." But again, I feel like week one, people aren't going into it expecting it to be fixed.
Well, I mean, you say that, right? So, I'm looking at it, and I guess this is, I don't see where it says it's fixed, right? So, I'm presuming this is the official schedule, and I don't I might be blind, but I don't see it. So, kind of strange, like I say. So that's going to surprise a lot of people. I feel like you're not wrong. Yeah,
I definitely. I mean, unless someone went out of their way to replicate a screenshot of a forum post, I don't know why they would. I've definitely seen it. Ryan in chat saying maybe bring back the Audi R18. That's a good point. Maybe, Ryan.
Yeah.
Maybe. It's a good point.
Funnily enough, I randomly jumped in that for all of 2 minutes earlier because I was testing one of the customer rigs at the centre, and for whatever reason that was the last car that had been selected, so that was a car that was jumped in and run.
Love the sound of that thing under braking. Love it.
Yeah, you just immediately know that is the car that you're in, for sure. So 100%. Alexander KP in YouTube chat asking where can you find the schedule? Well, you can find it on the iRacing forums, and I was trying to helpfully ping the link straight into YouTube chat, but I've missed where I pulled it from. Here we go. Oh, to be fair, David, that is linked preliminary, like you said, schedule. So so there you go, YouTube chat. There is the preliminary schedule, so hence maybe why it doesn't have some of the details.
There is an updated one. Maybe it just added the word fix. I'm not sure, but the preliminary one is. Well, I say preliminary. It had Mugello. I'm not sure, but anyway, I mean that's 99.9% correct.
It's the only one that is in staff announcements on the forums. So, like I said, okay. If there's a non-preliminary one, it would be useful for it to be in that same location. Jumping back to YouTube chat a little bit, Alan Luff saying that Okayama that we were talking about a minute ago looks amazing, but now hard on the FPS. So again, maybe same as what you were seeing at Mugello then, David. Kind of makes sense.
I didn't notice it, but I wasn't. Maybe I just did look for it. But yeah, I can imagine it did look good. It did. Again, it looked like a step up.
Yeah. Kenny Roger again, the yellow speed humps at Mugello are dangerous, but the curbs feel good in LMP3 and GT1, so it's good to hear. Colleague Jonathan Grabowski, very pleased that I'm on camera apparently, so thanks for that. And same from Greg. And then Ryan Reisman saying maybe they bring back Audi R18, which is what you just covered a second ago. So yeah, absolutely, that is a good suggestion. I'm kind of surprised that maybe didn't get a slot in amongst those kind of little mini revivals there. But,
is it vintage yet though? It's not, True. Is it? It's in between new and old. It's bang in the middle.
Yeah, exactly. It is the Aston Martin GT1 vintage. Yeah, I don't know. don't know.
Good point. Good point.
But yeah, so they're in the Pro 2 GT series. Okay, so that is pretty much everything that was covered in the iRacing patch itself. However, you and maybe some others, David, spotted some other additions within the patch, and it is some clues as to how the upcoming rain system is gonna be implemented in iRacing. So yeah, did you want to give us a bit of a summary?
So, there's a few places. In the controls of iRacing, there's now a setting to show and hide the radar. The radar being that box in the top left, so that will literally pop up as an overlay. The grey box, that will literally pop up. In the app INI, there's a couple of settings regarding rain and how graphics are going to handle depending if it's raining or if it's dry. And so I got to thinking what other overlays there might be. So if you press Alt-K to move around said overlays, that's where that one is, the giant version, which gives you an hourly, well, a timed breakdown of the race and the chance of precipitation. I hate that.
So many P's that are tricky today. Preliminary, precipitation. This is. Yeah. What else have we got?
The only thing I couldn't find, so I found, maybe 6 references to rain across the app INI, the controls, the graphics, and the overlay, but I haven't been able to find what it's going to look like while you're driving, which got me thinking. I hope we do see. So you can definitely see it before you jump in the car, and I'm sure crew chief's going to give you warnings, but this is so early, it's not even worth thinking. I shouldn't even be saying this because I'm sure lots is going to change, but I haven't found anything while you're driving. I can't make the overlay appear, the radar appear, any information. So when you're actually in the car driving, there's nothing. So interesting to see. Yeah, that thing, the big, you can make the little independent one pop up, but as soon as you jump in the car, it disappears.
Okay, yeah, interesting. Well,
so you got.
Like I say, I feel like there probably is going to be something, right? I'd be surprised if they, don't have it contained either separately or it's a new black box with a bit of info in or
Correct.
something,
I was
right?
expecting a weather black box, chance of rain in the next hour and a %. I'm excited. I get sick of talking about it because I've been excited about it for, I don't know, so long. It would change endurances beyond what people can imagine.
Yeah,
sprint race is sure it would just be a bit chaotic, and can you come out on top of the random events it's going to throw? But endurance racing, I think
it's desperately needed, right? Like for me, endurance racing in iRacing is a bit of a snooze fest, really. You might get lucky with kind of something interesting on strategy and someone coming back through the field and that sort of stuff, but after hour 1 or whatever, right, you know what everyone's pace is, and the track temperature is going to change slightly, and a bit of cloud cover will affect something briefly, but it's this is why private leagues then start messing around with throwing in random safety cars and all this nonsense, and it's a shame. So I'm just I'm keeping fingers crossed that iRacing can implement a sensible system on rain, which I have medium confidence in. So yes, like I say, it would be good. I mean, they're talking it up pretty big, right? They're not just saying we can do rain. They're saying we can do weather systems, which is quite a different statement, I think. So
I agree.
Fingers crossed. It'll be good to see.
Forget, when I got in iRacing, there was no nighttime. People may not remember this, but
absolutely. We used to do endurance races, and it's just static.
Daytime.
So no, it's when I so I think that's probably enough for iRacing update news right now. That's going to be the majority of our news topics, but we've got just a couple of odds and sods to have a little run through now. And the first that we're going to start off with is Forza Motorsport 3 update 3. David.
Yeah. I mean, they've added a beloved track of mine, Hockenheim. I don't know why I love it, because I don't think it's well loved across the industry, but it's one of my favourites. And Forza's one of those games, I would love to love it because it looks phenomenal, but it's just not for us, right? It's a larger appeal, but I mean, I love the pictures in Forza.
Yeah, I mean, that looks like pretty impressive, right? That sort of atmospheric lighting and stuff. I mean, I agree with you that Forza typically isn't going to be for someone who's serious enough into sim racing that they're watching this podcast, but
correct,
for a lot of people, if not all of them, it's probably one of the popular routes to get to that point, right? So, like, again, I've heard you talking before. Like, we've come through the same sort of thing. How do you get into sim racing where you don't? iRacing isn't your first ever driving game that you play. You work your way through an arcade game, and then you work your way through something that claims to be a bit more simulation when you don't know any better, like a Gran Turismo and a Forza and that sort of stuff. So, like, it's great that these sort of things are getting more and more popular, hopefully, and that just then gives a bigger pool of people who decide, how can I take this more seriously, and they discover things like iRacing and all the others that we talk about. So it's let's say it's a good update.
It is interesting because we have to remember, one day it could happen, just one idle Thursday where it's over for iRacing. Because if Forza or Gran Turismo or any of them take it super serious, like PC, for simulators, for direct drive, cockpit only, none of that running on the hood cam or far chase nonsense. Yep. No controllers. If they went for it and they started talking about esports and prizes and Daytona 24s and picking up the Le Mans license and WEC, like, it would just be over. It wouldn't be a slow death either. It would, the user base on those games I think people forget how unfathomably different it is to iRacing. We talk about, there's 6 splits and that's good. No, like, it would be insane, and it would be over so quickly. Now, we don't expect it to ever happen because that's not where the money is, right? It's a completely different world. They care about game sales and the next game sales, and that's the next game, and that's the way it's been for as long as I can remember. I mean, I find it still odd that people buy FIFA one every year and hardly anything changes, and we just live in a different world. But I'd like bigger competition from a bigger name like Forza, Gran Turismo, but we'll see.
I mean, you never know, right? I mean, Forza obviously already taken a step in the other direction with the Horizon branch of games. I don't think it's very likely, but who knows? Maybe they do a spin-off just using the same engine as a basis and make it more simulation, and we have Forza Expert or wherever it might be. So who knows? I think it's unlikely. On that sort of subject of kind of gateway kind of sim racing, and we're not Forza people, but overall it's good. Have you watched the Gran Turismo film, David?
Haven't. I have just finished watching the Brawn series on Disney, but no, I haven't watched the
chat.
No reason.
YouTube chat. No reason. Who has anyone watched the Gran Turismo film? Right, like we are all like hardcore sim racers. It's a huge, bloody great film about sim racing. Like, it's kind of bizarre to me that nobody's seen, as far as I can tell, that nobody's watched it, right? And I get why. Firstly, because it's pretty crap a film.
Have you watched it, I assume?
Yeah, it was. I was glad to have watched it because I am heavily involved in sim racing. It's kind of my life and my business and that sort of stuff. So I wanted to see what it was about and kind of support it a tiny bit or whatever. It was too I'm not going to give a critical review of it or anything, but for me it was too Fast and Furious-esque of, I want to go a bit quicker now, so this time I'll actually put my foot to the floor, or I'll actually change. There's this other gear that I've not been using the whole time. It was a bit too much of that. But it's a huge Hollywood-esque film about sim racing. It was kind of cool. So Ryan Reisman in chat saying he's seen it, so at least one other person has. I'm just kind of curious. Like, it's our niche is such an obscure niche. It's kind of in my mind, really a huge deal that there's this big film about it, and nobody kind of cares in the industry itself, which is what it's kind of based on. It was kind of interesting to me. I was curious.
I haven't actually seen the opportunity to watch. Like, I have to admit, I don't know if it's the marketing where I live. I don't know. I haven't had. It's like it hasn't presented it hasn't come up to me to watch it. I'd have had to go out my way, and I'm a bit lazy with television, I have to say.
Yeah, I think maybe another month or two, and it should start. It was probably going to come free on services, right? Like, it was a paid rental stream thing, which I didn't have to pay for. But yeah, so no, I'll say it's I would recommend watching it to see what it's about, and because it's our industry, but don't expect a good film. But if you do watch it, make sure you watch post credits, because that's the best bit of the whole film in my opinion. So yeah.
I did notice a lot of people coming into my chat after the movie was released, and I mean, bless them, they were kids and they're watching me do what I do, and they're like, their outlet was like, how do I do what you do? Because I want, like, they watched the movie and I want to be something great in this industry.
Exactly.
And it was great to see kids asking this.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what I was thinking, right? Like, it's this thing that has this huge reach, and even though we might kind of poo-poo the film a bit and the way they portray it, if it gets a whole different category of people looking at it who might not have really looked at it before, then all the better. It can only be a good thing, right? So
I agree.
Yeah, it's cool. Okay, so that was in there somewhere was our chat about the Forza update. I'm pretty sure we managed to cover that. But like I say, exactly. Hockenheim was there. They've got some new series. Like I say, Hockenheim was the main point in that. So so good that that's still rolling along. Not quite so good on the EA/Codemasters side, as reported by IGN, is that Codemasters are having a round of layoffs, unfortunately. As is kind of typical for news articles, really, it's kind of a reasonably long article, but doesn't. The only bit that really says anything new is in the kind of the quote here. But yeah, I guess EA Sports WRC just come out, David. I feel like it presumably suggests that it didn't rocket off the shelves quite as much as they had hoped. So maybe that's me connecting, adding 2 and 2 and getting 5 type of thing. But that's the timing of that seems about right.
Yeah, I mean, EA obviously. I'm not sure how long they've owned Codemasters now, but they're obviously they've seen what they can deliver, and EA has their way of making money, and Codemasters has had their way, and it looks like EA are going to be getting their way on future releases, so we can expect
microtransactions,
and all that rubbish. So let's see. Codemasters obviously had their chance. I'm guessing. I really don't know. I mean, this might just be strategic because the industry. I mean, we talk about Motorsport games a lot, but when I was doing my research on this subject, it seemed like there was it 11 major game studios are downsizing. So this isn't, it's not them in isolation, but
I think a lot of people are suffering kind of post-lockdown pandemic adjustments, right? Lots of industries kind of exploded during that time, including sim racing, and people are maybe adjusting back the other way a little bit. Yeah, it's a shame, right? I'm guessing it's probably the same as you, right? Like, people of our sort of, well, you're a bit younger than me, I expect, but people of our sort of age and generation, we kind of grew up with Codemasters games, right? I'm thinking of classic touring cars and stuff like that, and you just think, Codemasters, racing games, safe bet, good fun, and F1 games kind of maybe a bit hit and miss over the years, but I think everyone was quite concerned when EA bought. I was concerned when EA bought Codemasters, and EA did the normal thing of saying, "Oh, well, we've just bought them. Don't worry, we're not going to touch anything." And then, as is reminded in that article we just had on screen, immediately got rid of the CEO and CFO. So, kind of maybe nothing hugely surprising. Hopefully, it's not a sign of anything kind of further to come for Codemasters, because British company, we successful in the past and made good products. So hopefully they can continue on, and I think the WRC game has had sort of reasonable reviews and stuff as well. I know you guys covered it a little bit of detail before, so
for everyone who's
not like it was a flop.
I've heard great things. Like, the only criticisms are the usual, like early FPS issues or crashes, but they seem I mean, it's fun. I think that's the point of a game, right?
Exactly.
I forget that sometimes because I play my game full time and take it super seriously. But
yes,
I think in there somewhere is meant to be fun.
Yeah, so I'm told. Okay, next on our list then for news of the week is Assetto Corsa on LFM. So I know you've been obviously singing LFM's praises lots of different times, David. As it helps to get other sims to create an iRacing-esque system of official races firing off and stuff. So what have you seen this week?
So Monday and Tuesday I spent an exorbitant amount of time racing this and going through the loopholes, because it was day 1 and day 2. So I really wanted to this time be on the ground and experience it myself. Assetto Corsa has always been fun. Like I love the sim, to be honest. If it had LFM from day 1, I may never have looked elsewhere to see what was out there and found iRacing, and then never left for 3 or 4 years. Assetto Corsa doesn't have anything to do. Once you get past the AI and you learn all the tracks and you learn all the cars, and you might find the odd league back in the day that I did, but it was hit and miss on participate. Oh my god, the P words today. Participation. So the racing was busy. I didn't realize this at first, so I jumped into a LMP3 Le Mans race. I had an absolute blast. The racing was good. The netcode was, I really enjoyed the race. Went to go do the next Mazda race, and it was full beyond bursting. There was nothing I could do. So I had to wait over an hour, so I just practiced. And then I got into my second Le Mans race, because I was going to do Le Mans and Mazdas at Lime Rock back to back. And then there were some problems. The problems started to rear their head. So it didn't go from practice to quali. It just sat there. But there's like a chat area within the game, and LFM employees were coming in and explaining what's happening and what they're going to try and do to fix it. So they'd copied the iRacing model of like 3 minutes of practice, then quali, then the race. So they were like, what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of the practice and just add some time to quali, and you join in quali and you've got some more time to do laps. And Boris, the CEO, started posting in Discord about the changes. And then so I went on and did a Mazda race. That race never happened. I did a Mazda race. That was fine. Went to do another Le Mans race, and then it was bad again. After quali, I'd qualied well. My personal best of the day. The race, unfortunately, never happened. And then this is when Boris actually posted on the Discord that it looked like they were having some DDoS attacks.
Oh, no.
Yes. I actually had someone in my chat. I mean, I'm not saying he had anything to do with it, but the attitude. He said, and I quote, LFM belongs to ACC. Now I found that a bit concerning, but we have to remember people, like the Verstappen versus Hamilton problem. People focus so much on
they have their tribes.
What they love. Yeah, that they actually build hate for the others, and it's a shame. But so my takeaways were the staff of LFM and the CEO came out ahead of problems. They didn't hide and act like nothing went happening and tweet that, oh, it's gone down well. Boris posted he responded to one of my Discord messages, and he doesn't know I'm a streamer. He's completely ACC LFM. They're on top of it. They're working hard. They're making changes, race by race, trying to make it better. And the racing I had was fun. I mean, I always say iRacing's biggest problem is the lack of competition. Like for years, they could have done what they wanted. It didn't matter. I mean, who's going to compete with them? So LFM gives sims a chance. I mean, realistically, it's still a long shot, but
it still needs to be built in, right? Like it's great having an add-on service like this, and it sounds like LFM are kind of smashing it, frankly, but. It seems so weird that nobody else has managed to successfully replicate at least some degree of
it's crazy,
the main thing that enabled iRacing to kind of get off the ground, right? So it's kind of good that something's coming along, and hopefully the guys behind it will be able to get something more maybe kind of ground level in another sim, Rensport, for instance. If I was Rensport, are you not tapping up somebody like LFM and going, I want this in my game, how do I do it, and make sure these things are far enough from the start. So
100%. It's a great, well, obviously they just borrowed the iRacing system and built it into sort of a platform that they can plug into. We've got WRC, rFactor 2, ACC, and now AC, and I'm sure they're working hard for Ultima Blister 2 and Assetto Corsa 2 when it comes out. So let's see.
No, awesome.
Let's see.
Thank you for subscribing to the YouTube channel Gamer FIFA 21 HD a few moments ago. For podcast listeners, that's why you heard an F1 car driving by, because somebody subscribed. Guilty Spark from our chat about vintage cars a minute ago said, I would love to see more vintage stuff added, maybe like the old Minis and Mustangs that used to race. So yeah, good old classic Cooper S Mini or something, David, around your local tracker Brands Hatch. That sounds like pretty fun to start off with.
It sounds like a lot of fun. It doesn't sound like iRacing at all, but it sounds like a lot of fun.
It sounds like another dead series, but it'll be fun for a couple of days after you spend your £15 buying the car, right? So yeah,
correct. That's the issue, isn't it? We need to be. Yeah, I would like iRacing to downscale things and a bit more focused when they add things, and just be a bit more community adaptive. If a series isn't working, try and fix it. If it isn't going to fix, then bring something out. Like, I would like them to be more in touch with the community. That's what I'd love to see from them, from iRacing 2.0 is, yeah, don't just wait 13 weeks to fix a problem, because the problem is you can permanently
permanently damage.
It's done. Yeah. No, some forum post isn't going to fix it.
No, you're not wrong. Okay, great. So that's our sim racing news rundown for the day. Considering, David, as you and Sam have said many times, we felt like it was a bit light on the sim racing news this week. An hour, so we still managed to do an hour just on the sim racing news. So good stuff.
Correct.
Right, so in a moment we're going to do a short kind of ending to the show looking at the Apex news. But just before we do that, I need to pay the bills. Black Friday discounts are still running for the Apex Racing Academy. So if you are an iRacer, which most likely you are to have discovered this channel/podcast, then Apex Racing Academy perhaps could be a good option for you if you have not already considered it. We provide data packs for many of those official series that we just looked at on the schedule, group coaching sessions for some of the most popular ones, which currently are VRS, GT Sprint, IMSA, and a Porsche Cup. And the Black Friday deal, by the way, is that you get 40% off a 1-year subscription to our silver package, which is our kind of all you can eat, if you like. So let's not linger on these cars too long, because this is for the season that just finished, and there's going to be a couple of tweaks for the season that starts as of kind of Monday. But yeah, 1-year package for silver. You'll get 40% off that there, plus whatever that you may have based on your local currency. To get that, you need to use a coupon code ARASAVE23 at checkout, and the website is apexracingac.com. So yeah, that's where you need to head if you would like to try out those data packs and coaching services for 40% off. Linked in with that is one of our other brands, Apex Racing Simulators. Here's another screenshot. Apex Racing Simulators, if you head to the hardware sales section up here, which currently consists of almost entirely virtual racing school products, because they are our primary partner, but there'll be more stuff added on the bottom of here soon. Spend £500 or more, so that would be throttle and brake, Formula steering wheel, wheelbase, or multiple combinations of. If you spend £500 or more, you will automatically receive an email as part of your order for free 3 months to the aforementioned Apex Racing Academy. So not so great if you are not an iRacer, but still an offer for you if you are, and maybe if you're not, you've probably got some iRacing friends. But you can buy your set of throttle and brake pedals that you've been waiting for, and give your friend 3 months free of ARA subscription. So yeah, those Black Friday deals are still running, and I believe we have now actually said when they're running to, which is until the end of this year. So 31st December, I believe, is when both of those offers will end. So again, if you're considering it, then probably don't wait too long. Okay, so thank you for indulging me as, like I say, I just kind of made sure I kept the lights on. It looks like I've failed already in here, right? But I need to turn the lights back on. So please help me out with those Black Friday deals. Okay, Apex news, David. We shall start off with Apex Racing Team. As we get into the end of the year now, it is starting to quieten up a little bit for the Apex Racing Team guys competing in various different seasons. Rennsport ESL R1 has wrapped up. The British Esports Formula 4 Championship have wrapped up. But we have got the IMSA Esports Championship that is underway. And last weekend at round 3, both Luke McEwen and Alejandro Sanchez, sharing a GTD car, took victory in their class at Sebring, and like I say, quite a result for the guys there. I think David, obviously, the Esports Championships has got some of the biggest teams that compete in iRacing in there.
Yeah, look, I'm biased because I'm Apex, so no one's going to believe what I say. But I mean, it feels like cheating putting Luke and Sanchez in a car together. Yeah,
that is quite a combination. It really is. Super strong. I mean, Alejandro obviously has been, at the top of his game and sim racing game generally for, good few years. And Luke is very, very quickly rising up ranks to his same level. Obviously, just won the British Esports F4 Championship that I mentioned again for the second year running. So Luke is absolutely smashing it. Though he's not smashing it this week, he has been struggling with illness as well. So sorry to Luke, and hopefully he is feeling better and will feel better soon. But like I say, great combination of those two cars, or those two drivers, in that same car, David, as you said.
Yeah. I mean, they're remarkable drivers. Like you say, Sanchez is, one of the best, if not the best GTD driver there is. And Luke, he doesn't know how to lose, so it's not a bad pairing. No,
not at all. And the guys did also compete in the DNLS series at the weekend as well. Slightly less successful there, unfortunately. I think the MSI gaming car that one team were competing as part of unfortunately got caught up in an incident with a red line car. I'm pretty sure it was, off the top of my head, coming through the back end of the circuit, and that kind of put a rough start to their race, unfortunately. So I think it was a bit of a tough start to the DNLS, but that is a 5-round season. Every couple of weeks. The next one is in 2 weeks. Then the following round isn't until the end of January. So I guess it's going to vary a bit. But 16th of December is going to be round 2, which will just be at the same track again. It's all at the Nordschleife.
Actually, quick shout out to KCR Stig in chat, who actually drove in an Apex Racing Team blue car. I'm not jealous at all. So he joined late. He filled the seat with Parker White, so it was the Whites that took part. It didn't go to plan. I believe they had to serve a penalty for not having an IRL driver, and I think the way they served the penalty with the rule book the way it is, unfortunately they had to serve it twice, so it is what it is. But I mean, I know Zach was very excited to take part. He actually just finished the ARL race. On that race where he competed with Parker, he finished an ARL race, woke up first thing in the morning, did the DNLS, and then went immediately from the DNLS to join us in the Silverstone 24. So he's built different. So just a quick shout out, and he's in chat here supporting, so he gets a shout out. Yeah,
great. Well, I say, great that you're getting involved, KCR Stig. So that's good to hear. Yeah, busy weekend. You're not wrong. Glyn BT in YouTube chat whilst we're there, just saying that Michael Yanni is amazing in the P Cup training session. So that's us referencing back to the Apex Racing Academy again. That's the most popular group coaching session that we have week on week, hosted by Michael. So if you're
he's great, Michael,
if you're either are driving the Porsche Cup in iRacing or kind of thinking about, shall I take a step into that car? It's a great car, but it's tricky. So maybe consider taking a look at that. And Guilty Spark saying about fixing what already exists rather than maybe adding more content in iRacing. So I think that's maybe along the lines of what we were thinking. So like I say, kind of not much else on the Apex Racing team side, because like I say, it's going to be winding down a little bit as we get to the end of the year. One thing I did want to ask chat though, YouTube chat, help me out, and podcast listeners, if you have a way of leaving a comment or something on wherever it is that you are listening to, then it would be helpful as well. Merchandise. Right here, I have a couple of problems, David. Right. Apex Racing Team merchandise. We've had our existing kind of t-shirt sort of clothing things for a little while. Never really made them kind of available for public sale for one reason or another. We're well overdue getting that up and running. YouTube chat /David. What do we want from initial Apex Racing Team? Well, if you even want it, from Apex Racing Team clothing, right? So a t-shirt. Do you want something fairly plain like this that's just got like some logos and stuff and like probably like a biggish ART logo on the back or something, and just kind of fairly, not too in your face, not too loud, but you're kind of representing and it's got some logos on it? Or do you want something with some actual like color and design and graphics to it? I'm thinking, it's colorful in some way and it's showing the style of the team or whatever it is that we're representing. That's the first thing I'm kind of curious of from the chat, if there's any kind of particular opinions there. Second issue I got, David, is I feel like I'm still living in the 90s. I think that a t-shirt should cost £10, and unfortunately it really doesn't. So I kind of I kind of hit up the McLaren F1 sales at the end of the season. I think, oh, maybe I'll get a t-shirt this year, and I still go, what? How much? But it says it's 50% off, and like how is a jacket £100 and stuff like this, right? So I don't know. I'm kind of curious what people think a t-shirt. Not what people think. What people would be prepared to pay for a t-shirt, with branding and stuff on it from, supporting their team. What sort of numbers are kind of silly? What would you consider? What not consider? Because I feel I'm lagging behind, David. This is my issue. Yeah,
no, sporting goods are just,
it's tricky.
I mean, it's expensive, and the kind of gear that you're wearing, for example, doesn't, like it's what's the word? Like that kind of material doesn't get sweaty. So when you're sim racing, I think it's really important. But yeah, I mean, when I think F1 shirts, like I own loads, but I don't just buy them willy-nilly. Most of them I bought for like a Christmas present. Like I'm an adult and I have to wait a year to get a new F1 shirt. They're expensive. 130 for an F1 shirt is normal, but you get them on sale. Jackets, I mean, you said 100.
I think that's probably undershooting even still, right? I thought I was going crazy, and then I thought, actually, no, I think I saw him for...
I own one F1 jacket, and I have owned it, I don't even want to admit because it makes me sound like I've got a money problem, but maybe 9 years, and it's Lotus. I mean, I love it, but it was ridiculously expensive. Sports gear is just expensive. And
clothing is just expensive, right? Like it's just a price. I mean, probably in I'm gonna go off on tangents. I don't want to get too political or anything, but like maybe in lots of ways it's a good thing, right? Maybe again, back when I was a kid, the reason that lots of stuff was so cheap was because of how much I don't want to think about the terrible ways that the products are made, and maybe that sort of stuff is a little bit better now. I hope, maybe not. It depends, but so hopefully you're kind of paying for other people getting what they should.
Here's the best thought to leave you with, right? When you think merch, when you think buying something from McLaren or even if it's ART, remember there's an element of I'm showing support. That's why there's a portion of the money it's a bit more expensive. It's not because you're not competing with Reebok or Nike. It's you're giving support. So remember that. That's my final thought, I suppose, to think about it.
So anyway, I'm just if a chat or people watching after in the comments has any thoughts as to that kind of general rambling, I would be interested and it would be helpful. And there will be Apex Racing Team merch for sale in 2024 for sure.
Oh wait,
2024 is quite a long that is quite a long time, but at some point in there will be.
As long as it's before GT, the new Gran Turismo, Grand Theft Auto game, then we're doing well.
Yes. Hype. Grand Theft Auto 6 finally comes out. Okay. I want to finish up with some Apex Racing TV clips, as we like to do to generally finish up the show. We are going to start off with classic, as we see lots of times on the Late Apex podcast, is the good old SRF's Spec Racer Ford, and just a nice little move from, have I my mouse going to show on screen, from this driver here, from Jean Lin as he works his way down Road America, past a couple of corners that don't really exist, and makes a couple of moves.
Yeah, nice. Is this the Spec Ford? It looks.
Yeah, Spec Racer Ford. Yeah.
This is the thing that looks like an MX-5 when you're in the cockpit. That one, yeah.
Yes.
I like it though.
But it's not
Great
done.
car.
He's still got another move to do as he goes up the hill and slots into that second position. So yeah, like 3 positions made in like a corner and a half or so. So yeah, the Spec. Let's get off my calendar. That was a bad mistake. So the Spec Racer Ford Weekend Warriors is a cracking little series that runs here on Apex Racing TV each week. I want to next take a look at the Ricmatech Sports Car Series, and let's just jump back a touch on that because we aren't quite showing on screen yet. But this was the final round of the Ricmatech Sports Car Series, round 8 at Watkins Glen, and that is the LMP3 championship leader in the wall in the final round. But fortunately for him, as we're going to see in a moment in the next clip, he says, his main challenger in second position also had a bit of a struggle as well. So this is Travis Schrenke, who was challenging for the LMP3 championship and puts it into the wall and loses the back end of his car as well. So I suspect, I'm guessing from the context that, maybe without that issue there for Travis, perhaps he would have just about snuck the LMP3 win in the championship. But as we can see now, as we have a magic of timing that time, Mike Dam did indeed take the championship win for the LMP3, and Travis Schrenke in second, even though it says third there. It was super close, like 5 points, David, just between the two of them, out of sort of 370 odds. So congratulations to Mike Dam there. There were GT4 categories as well. Oh, never mind, I thought that was going to load nicely, but there were GT4 standings as well, but the website's not going to show it. So there you go. Maybe Kev Copeland won GT4 Pro, I would guess, and maybe GT4 AM perhaps was won by Leonardo Dragotta. And which, if he did win GT4 AM, then congratulations to Leonardo, because he has had a couple of coaching sessions from Apex Racing Academy in the last few weeks. So I hope that helps. What else do we have clip-wise? We've got one more clip. In fact, 2 more clips. The next clip is from the Apex Racing Academy Super Formula Series, and this was a little bit of a tricky start for...
Looks like a fun car, this.
It's great. I'm going to pause it for a sec and come back. It's great. I traditionally am a single-seater driver when I was not retired, or whatever you want to call it. And I jumped in the car to see what it was like when it was first released, and it's fabulous. Like it felt really, really easy to pick up, but then you could feel it was going to be challenging and all the things that you want. But fun, like much better than the modern F1 cars or whatever that are on the platform. You don't want to jump on any of those. Super Formula,
no, I agree.
Yeah. If you're looking to take a step up from F4 or something, Super Formula is great. And let's go back and have a look at the start from this car. Oh, it's a big step up, but like it's not as intimidating as like the F1 car with all the other gadgets you having to manage and electrical systems and stuff, right? But this is Red Bull Ringling as I head up to turn 1 at the start of a lap, and unfortunately a spin from Alacerno, and he was or is the championship leader. So again, big issue for him, and a few cars unfortunately caught up in that. And then to finish, it wasn't originally on my list, David, but I wanted us to have a quick look at that frankly shocking GT3 start from your broadcast a couple of hours ago, since I caught it as well. So let's have a quick look at what went on there. So this is at Virginia International Raceway in the ARL GT3 Trophy. Beginning of the race, as you can see, pace car has just peeled in, and watch these 2 cars here to start us off. Well, I mean, obviously you've seen it, David, but I mean, YouTube chat, watch those cars. That's where you're looking. So car pretty much on the grass, trying to make it kind of 3-4 wide. And then, I don't know if you called it in commentary or not, but it's a little bit of a tap then in the rear, which is what causes the Ferrari to spin. And unfortunately, just rolls straight back onto the track. And we're about to see a great camera angle of the whole track basically getting blocked, right?
Yeah, it looked like obviously there was two Mercs in it. It looked like one went for speed and the other went for the inside line, and the tap on the rear just sent him flying. It is always hard to judge if they're holding brakes correctly without studying the footage yourself, because sometimes the speeds are so high anyway. But yeah, I mean, the rule is you've got to be on the brakes. It's just a shame the grass didn't absorb the problem. That's what usually happens at VIR. If something goes wrong in that corner, it goes off the track, and then that's a shame. But
maybe that was more historic, right? Because again, like back in the day, you touch the grass and you'd just be going for another couple hundred yards, not being able to control it. Whereas nowadays, maybe not quite so much, right? So yeah, it's
Road Atlanta. Road Atlanta, I was there recently doing the bop, and I went off in T1, and usually you're in the wall. Now you can steer right and pick up the corner before T2. It's insane.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, not wrong. So those were our clips from Apex Racing TV. Do you know what we should do? How much of in a rush are you, David? Do you want to get away, or are you kind of okay?
Rush.
All right, awesome.
Well, I even had pizza, mate. That's tradition.
Here's what will be much more sensible, right? Let's watch all together. How long is it? Oh, it's 7 minutes. Let's all watch together the curated clips and highlights from November 2023, produced by Sam Fitzpatrick. Let's start at the beginning. That would help. And we got a few clips available. So if you want to watch this is on the obviously the Apex Racing TV channel. And maybe we'll just let it kind of play for a moment, and then we'll wrap up the podcast in a second.
Yeah, I saw that clip. Obviously, you must have seen it when the week before it happened. Oh,
yeah, this is back in the Rick Mattek World Challenge.
Oh, what a move! I like Monza. I get it. I know why lots of people don't, but I've always enjoyed this track.
Yeah, I definitely like Monza. I just chicanes. If it wasn't for chicanes, I'd be happy. Like the Lesmos, obviously fantastic, and Ascari and everything, right? So yeah, it's a fun track for sure. This looks like the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup at Bathurst. I mean, that's just asking for trouble straight away, right? We're got to see a track blockage surely on this one.
Yeah, this is a tough track, and this is a tough car, so I can't imagine how challenging it would have been.
No, this is Solomon in second place who's going to make this move on Nold. Yeah, there we go. I remember seeing this one. So no track blockage, but just a crazy move in the middle of the mountain there. Here we go. We like this one.
Yeah, unfortunate. This is the sad moment from Nick, who was having... Oh, God.
Sam giving us full effects. This isn't me. This isn't Sam's fault with the editing, not me drawing it now. But, that was a bizarre race, right? A Red Bull Ring, just everybody struggling on pit entry, either cutting line going in or just pit lane speed limiting, right?
Yeah, there's a few tracks in iRacing where the rules are different. Like, because Watkins Glen, we ignore the white line. We're on the left-hand side of the track and we cut in late, and that's fine. Red Bull Ring, Brands Hatch, there's a couple of tracks where for some reason the white line is enforced. Like a crazy amount enforced, i.e., what a save. 1 or 2 tyres over, 40-second penalty. Where, like we say, Sebring, Watkins Glen, we do what we want. We do it however we want. As long as we're slowed down before the pit line, the rules don't apply. So, I mean, I would like to see a clear-up inconsistency. I don't really care which way they go.
Yeah.
As long as it's consistent.
Yeah, exactly. People just need to have an easy time of understanding what's going to be allowed and what's not, right?
Yeah. Because VRS Brands Hatch, I had a shocking qualifying, and I didn't think I'd be able to get back through the field, and I went from like 17th to 9th in the pit stop phase because everyone served penalties.
Yeah.
Oh. Hats off to peak-up drivers at the Nordschleife.
Yeah, I know the first section of the Nordschleife really, really well.
I see where you're going with that. This track's claimed my soul many times in endurances, unfortunately. To the point where, I actually fear the track in endurance. I always have the confidence, but I just feel like I'm going to let someone down at this track.
Yeah, it's crazy. People that can really get around that track here are just on another level, so for sure. This is the BRSCC Winter Esports Series, so great to have the BRSCC back. If international viewers don't know, they are the British Racing Sports Car Club in the UK, run a number of real-life race circuit competitions, and great that they're running a couple of esports series with us over the last couple of years. So, MX5s.
I'd love to get into more MX-5s. I don't know why I don't race it more.
I mean,
every time I drive the car, I have fun.
Exactly. Like, you just get great racing, right? So, no, I agree. No reason why not. Yeah, MX-5 is very much good fun, as, again, most iRacers know, having most likely gone through that. Oh, that was a send.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. He got... Oh, it's Wheel. Oh, okay. He got away with the first send, but the second one, I'm not sure. Run PCC. A Knight in chat saying, I'm not sure. I thought PCC just belongs in clip highlights.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm a multi-class driver. I love multi-class. That's my element. PCC ain't multi-class.
Real, yeah, exactly. Real multi-class.
Yeah, not that. Whatever that is. I don't even know what's going on when I watch a YouTube highlight. But no, I do love multi-class racing.
yeah, more positive webcam clip that time from Remy Fontaine in the prototype championship for ARL.
Yeah,
I love that he's done the work on getting a little kind of border and stuff for his webcam as well. David,
he's done more
put the effort in.
me, mate.
Yeah, same. Oh no.
Oh, he saw the funny side.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, LMP3s. It's a shame to see that car dwindling. It is brilliant to drive. I thoroughly enjoy it, but LMDH came at a similar time, and it doesn't stand a chance.
No.
I can never tell. Is this a Skip Barber? Oh my God, or a Formula Ford?
It's a Formula Ford. Yeah.
Okay. I need to. I love this car, but I'm just. There is no way I'm a 5.7k driver in a Formula Ford. That's my issue. I don't want a Smurf, but how am I meant to be a 5.7k?
Yeah.
Oof. Oh, there's no bus stop. Okay, I was thinking 3 wide. Wow. Oh.
What was a hip check?
Yep. But no death. Yeah, someone's been playing too much Rennsport there. They thought the content model would be good. I appreciate watching Rennsport races where they can lean on each other. It's something you grow used to liking, whereas obviously in iRacing you don't want to lean on someone.
Yeah.
Springboarded.
Yeah, exactly. I think, the contact model maybe seems okay, right? But I hope they get damage in super quick for Rennsport, for like ESL and stuff, because it just looks a bit silly sometimes, I feel like. But yeah. Oh, hello. Oh, this is my favourite bit.
Oh.
Mr. Simpson on the left. Let me turn the volume up quickly.
So I'm at the same level.
I just loved him saying that his feet were swinging the whole time like that. That sent me off on that one. So that's good. All right, there you go. That wasn't too bad. Sorry about the bit of dead time for podcast listeners, perhaps, but I don't know. We kind of entertained ourselves, and we only lost 10 people watching on YouTube. So maybe that was a worthwhile experiment to discover. Right. So so pretty much that wraps us up for today. I very quickly want to confirm what is coming up on Apex Racing TV in the next week. And actually, that calendar I accidentally shown earlier, that was a fine calendar to show, because that's just our broadcast calendar, not my calendar, thank God. So, so here's what's coming up on Apex Racing TV over the next few days. Very quiet tomorrow on Saturday. Then on Sunday at around, it says 3 o'clock there because that's when we're getting there, but 4:30, we're going to have the Champion Motorsports IRTES Endurance Series, which is going to be run from the broadcast with me in production, David, and you up front, I'm afraid. That'll be a good one to do. Yeah. So that's going to be LMDH and GT3 off the top of my head. I'm questioning myself, but that type of format. And 4-hour endurance race. And their season last year was really good on Apex Racing TV, and they are starting off round 1 with a broadcast in the studio, which is great. They're making that kind of step up, if you like, to us providing a full production. Then we. Brilliant. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Then we have the Weekend Warriors Week 13, as you can see it is here, look, Week 13, runoffs at 7 o'clock GMT. That's running 2 hours. They're running 2 different races in 3 different cars. So it's going to be the Formula Ford, the Formula V in one race, and then before that, or after, I think before the SRF, so again, Spec Racer Ford, Then on, it says Tuesday because it's so late in the day, 1 a.m. So Monday night if you're a US NA type of viewer. But yeah, 1 in the morning, Monday night, Rick Matek, final round of the World Challenge. So yeah, that was some of the clips we saw a minute ago. Then the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup at 8 o'clock GMT on Tuesday night. Then look at this busy day on here, David. So 2 in the morning. On Thursday morning, we have S1 Racing, which is a GT3 series. Then we have a special from AVL Racetech. I'm waiting a few more details and we'll try and then promote that a little bit. But they are going to have a couple of probably German, I think, pros, real life drivers competing in that race. And kind of the point of that race is come and see if you can beat a pro real life kind of driver. So yeah, the pros will be kind of highlighted in the timing towers and stuff. So we'll kind of be able to keep track of them nice and easy. And last year it was GT3s. And I think this year it's LMP2 or 3. Annoyingly, I can't remember off the top of my head. I think LMP2. So yeah, that could be kind of fun. And yeah, you'll probably see some names in there that you recognise. So yeah, great to have AVL Racetech back again. Then we have the BRSCC MX5s again that we saw a clip of a minute ago at 7:45 GMT, and almost simultaneously from a different broadcast team, Apex Racing Academy Super Formula Series. Do you know what DWR might stand for at all, David? Probably not. 11:30 at night. Yeah, DWR. Dinner with Racers. They are I want to say cultish podcast / weird show about cars and motorsport in the US. Lots of US fans, and they put on bizarre, crazy events. Jonathan Grabowski in chat, if he's still there, knows very much what that was last night because he broadcast it. They did GTPs at some little tiny American oval track, like a half mile oval or something. And yeah, it was kind of chaos. And last year, I seem to recall that they ran the Mission R that you mentioned before, along with the Skip Barbers on the same track at, I can't remember, somewhere. So they do really, and that, believe it or not, as I recall, that race was super close between the winner of the Skip Barber and the winner of the Porsche Mission R, because the Mission R has to sit in the pits for like 20 minutes and recharge or whatever, right? So they'd worked it out, and like the Mission R would like lap it 20 times and then just sit in the pits for half hour or whatever. So yeah, that was so that's Dinner with Racers. Yeah, if you if somebody's interested in kind of seeing what all that's about, Google Dinner with Racers YouTube and you'll find a YouTube channel. But yeah, kind of interesting set. And then that brings us back to next Friday, where we will be back with the ARL GT3 trophy. Let me have a quick look at what track that is at. You might already know offhand since you're talking about it shortly.
Spa, I think, is the next one.
Yes, you are correct. Spa. So that'll be at Spa.
Sam will be impressed. I got something right.
No, very good. And and then also the Radical Challenge, which let's rename it right now. It is no longer the Radical Challenge. It's now the Radical Esports Orts Cup. So that is the official Radical series, and that will be back next Friday night at 2100 GMT, 9 o'clock GMT for Americans who can't do military time, right? So that's our ARTV schedule for the week. Like I say, busy Thursday, a few other bits going on through the week as well. Thank you very much, everybody, to sticking with us through this podcast. Hopefully Sam will be back next week, and you'll both be back in the studio. That will be our last podcast then of the year, and I know Sam was saying maybe you can do the 22nd, but no, you can have 22nd and 29th off, and then the podcast will be back again on the 5th of January, Friday 5th of January. If you kind of enjoyed this kind of rambling and you've stumbled across us, and give us a subscribe on YouTube. You can also find the podcast by searching for The Late Apex on your preferred podcast platform, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. I use Podcast Addict. What do you use, David?
I have to admit, of late, Spotify, because I went through a bit of a transition being an Android user, then switching to iPhone and learning the iTunes, but I quite like the Spotify podcast system. It's grown on me quick, and it's cool seeing me Like I like it now.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just sold.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. Like, yeah, that's. Yeah, I feel. Yeah, I'm there with all these other things that I listen to. What's going on? Yeah,
Exactly.
So no, that's cool. So you have a long commute or something? Yeah, listen to chat about sim racing on podcasts. If you have a friend who you know listens to podcasts and they're a sim racer, yeah, give them a little nudge and a direction. You know, it'll be. I feel like there's potential in people wanting to kind of have a little weekly news update sim racing ramble. So it'd be good if you guys can help us out with sharing it as we do as well. So thanks very much, David, for doing this and GT3s earlier on. And all being well with illness and things, I shall see you on Sunday for the Champion Motorsports broadcast, and hopefully the viewers out there we will as well. And that will wrap us up for the late Apex this week. And back again 10 o'clock GMT next Friday on YouTube. All right, thank you very much. We'll leave it there. Bye bye.